Hey guys, James here from TCG University. Come back at you with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on Terry. I played him during the Retro Round 2 tournament this week for the Campus Championship. We'll have Retro Round 3 next week, so make sure to check that out. And let's get into the profile so you can see the choices I made. Okay guys, Terry is a 6-hand size 29 vitality character with the all earth and order symbols. We are playing under earth today. He has 2 abilities. E, discard 1 card from your opponent's card pool. This attack gets plus X damage. X equals the discarded card's control. Only playable during your attacks. So you don't get to abort anybody's attacks. Only get to buff your own. Respond, commit 1 foundation after you block with a foundation or an asset. You can add that card to your staging area committed and then draw 1 card. We are mainly playing our deck around the bottom ability because it's really, really strong in the retro format in my opinion. And we'll really get into why. So we're going to talk about the assets first. It wouldn't be a Terry deck if we didn't have Terry's Cap. Terry's Cap is a 2/5, 2 mid-block unique asset that says after we block with it, we draw a card. So we draw 1, bring it down. Draw 1, bring it down, draw 2, draw our second card. And then our commit, after 1 or more cards are discarded from our opponent's card pool during the combat phase, we can commit 2 of our opponent's foundations, our choice. This works really good at just tapping down things we don't want to worry about. And it works really good with Terry's top ability as well. It also triggers on things like Superior Technique, because I had that happen. I really wanted to use this on it. So the main card, there's 2 main cards for our defense side. We have Cormorant. It's a 3 diff, 1 mid-block breaker 2 asset that says we can use it from our staging area to block with. So we can just go, I'll block with Cormorant. I'll tap a foundation, bring it in, breaker 2. Cool, I'll block with Cormorant. Breaker 2, tap a foundation, bring it in. Draw a card. Breaker 2, bring it in. Just repeatedly have Breaker 2, 1 mid-block in staging area that you can always play, which is super good. Or if you don't like that route because you, for whatever reason, you don't want to take a bunch of half-block damage off like things like Shotgun or whatnot, we have Omega Sword and Elk Shield, which is can be played from our staging areas though in our hand. And after we block with it, an attack only deals 1 damage. So block, take 1, tap, bring down, draw a card. Block, take 1, tap, bring down, draw another card, and you just get to loop these 2. These 2 are super nuts in our deck. Just block, 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 block forever. So getting both of these out is so strong, to the point to where like Terry almost feels unbeatable unless your opponent just has the ability to just run through your entire staging area and tap you down, which can happen. Moving on to other assets we're playing 1 Requiem. We're trying to play like a small flip engine in our deck as well. Once per turn, we can give a bunch of damage for all of our opponent's face downs, and then we can commit it to give neg damage for all of our opponent's face downs. They can flip to cancel. The idea is we can get to the point where we flip their entire staging area, and they're just not able to cancel this ability. Same thing with kind of with the palindrome. We can commit a foundation if we don't have cards to block with for whatever reason, and we return an attack to its printed speed and damage, and then our opponent can flip to cancel. If they don't have cards to flip, they can't cancel this. So who cares? 1 Kaludus. It's a 1 mid-block as well. Super strong card, easy to block with. After one of my attacks deal damage, I can flip one of my opponent's assets or foundations, our choice. So we just continuously try to flip down our opponent's stage here so they don't have anything to flip and cancel with the later. Same thing with Vanator. It's a breaker 1 mid-block. Doesn't count towards progressive, so we never have to worry about if it's for whatever reason in our card pool. Then Form, we can add this card to our card pool, and then for the rest of the turn, after an attack deals less than its printed damage, we flip one of our opponent's foundations. Same kind of concept. It's an easy 1 mid-block, breaker 1, that's an asset that we'll use later that also can flip for us, so it wasn't a terrible add. 1 Omega Sword and Owl Shield. If we ever had to block with attacks, I wanted the ability to not have to worry about that progressive, so that way Terry could just do free stuff for free. So we had this and this. If while it's ready in our staging area, our blocks ignore progressive, and we could just check a 4 to give damage equal to block modifiers, which is pretty good as well. We have 1 dedicated teacher. This is mainly in here for all of our foundations. Some of our foundations have really good blocks, some of them don't. But this one just basically says after we block with it, we give all block modifiers -2 with a minimum of 0. So basically, a lot of our blocks are going to end up blocking on 0s and 1s with their block mods, which is really good. And it has the ability to tap and play it from our staging area as though we're in our hand for a block, which is pretty good too, since we could just block and move it back in. And you get the cool ability of just naking on block mods, which is pretty cool. We play a lot of assets, so we're playing 3 Guardian of the Spear Sword. 2 high blocks, so it's easy to bring in with Terry. Neg speed, which makes other cards easier to bring in with Terry. And then the main ability, which is flip, discard a card, add an asset to your hand. So we just flip. Cool. I'll pick up this, not Terry's hat. We'll pick up a Cormorant. Cool. We'll pick up an Omega Shield. Cool. I'll block, bring those in. They're more important. And then get to just continuously do those blocks and then kind of protect yourself. And then we are playing one last asset, which is Graven Castle Ruins. Graven Castle Ruins has a 2 high block, so it's easy to add in. It is the only, I'm double checking right now just to make sure, only terrain in our deck. Sometimes I forget to double check things like that and mess it up, but only terrain in our deck. And then E, your attack gets +2/+2 for each other copy of a card in your card pool, playable either player. That's really important for our next card in the deck we'll talk about. And then the other ability is E, destroy 1 foundation, add 1 attack from a discard pile to your card pool, basically to fuel the top ability. We don't care about that. We mainly care, I'm going to keep this here so we can talk about it. We're playing 4 From Science with Love. From Science with Love is really good with this style of deck. We get X momentum equal to the number of assets we have, and we play a lot of them. Play a lot of different ones too. And then it gets multiple X equal to the face downs in our opponent's staging unit. So we're flipping a bunch of things during our turn with other cards besides the ones you've already seen. We're flipping a bunch of those. We get a bunch of multiple X. We give it a bunch of momentum, and then when we multiple out, we get to give +X to our thing. So if we get like 3-4 assets into our on our staging area, we get multiple 4. We multiple 4 out. We can give this +10/+10. Then on my first enhance, +10/+10. 10-10, 10-10 along the line, and that makes things really hard to block. 14 for 15s, and you have 5 of them is pretty good, pretty good. You have to watch out though. Your opponent can use it. It is playable by other players, so be careful on that. And then the one card that interacts with From Science as well for me is Gorl's Victory Pose. This is in here to make sure my opponent can't play Prepare to Fight or Revoke or something like that. The one thing we don't want them doing is canceling our From Science. So the way to do that is just flip, no actions. Just prevents that. We don't have to worry about it. From Science goes off, we do the cool stuff. Onto our flip engine. We're playing 4 Pilgrimage of Anthropos. It's a 3 mid for 5 that says we get to flip one of our opponent's foundations. And then if they have 3 or more face down cards, we draw a card, which is also very strong for us. Extra cards does not hurt. 4 Spinning Pile Driver. It's a 0 mid for 4 throw that says we get to first enhance flip one of our opponent's foundations, our choice. Super strong card, can get really buffed with Terry. So like if we send this first, make our opponent block this because it's easy to block and they don't take damage from it, and then pile driver them afterwards and get plus damage off Terry, works out really well for us. Then we have Eviscerate. If we take damage, we flip one of our opponent's foundations. And then if our opponent has more face downs after we play this, we can just add it into our staging area at no cost. 3 Commander, the Outworld's Armies. After we take damage, we flip one of their foundations, and their next attack gets -2, which is super strong. And then 3 mid +3 mid block and breaker 1. Super cool. Block with Terry, breaker 1, bring it in, have it for later. Super cool card. 1 Puppet of the Cursed Sword. Our commit, after my opponent plays an attack, we discard the top card, and if it's in a foundation, we add it into our staging area. Committed. If not, we just ready this card. It's whatever. The main part is if our opponent wants to cancel, they can flip. This is mainly either getting us a free foundation, checking the top card of our deck, or we force our opponent to flip, which kind of just fuels our engine already. And getting an early start on that is not bad for us. Then we do block a lot, so we're playing 1 Pride of the Tribe. It's a 2/4 with a 1 mid block that just says after it's committed to pass a check for a block, our opponent flips 1. So like, cool, I had to commit for this. You'll flip a foundation. I'll commit a card for Terry, bring it in, draw a card. Nuts. And then the last card that works with that engine specifically is Your Path Ends Here. We can either block and force our opponent to flip 2 or ditch 1, or we can just remove it to give +X or -X damage, and then our opponent can flip 2 to cancel. So basically the way it works is we flip their entire staging area to where they can't cancel and just give something -X damage, and we never take damage from anything. Or we super buff a throw and we make sure we kill them. Speaking of throws, throw it down. We mainly play this for the all enhance. Your next card you play this turn, if it's an attack, gets +1 speed, +3 damage, and if it deals, you draw a card. We're playing 8 throws, so it's very easy for throws to deal damage. which means we're going to draw a card anyways. So dealing extra damage, drawing a card. If our opponent blocks, it fuels Terry, and with extra damage, it kind of makes them want to block more anyways. The other ability is not half bad as it cancels a speed or damage pump. Or a damage pump, my bad, not speed. 4, Spire Suplex. We're blocking a lot. Sometimes it's a half block, so getting Vitality is really good. Then it's also just a reversal throw that can get super big with Terry. And if not, who cares? It's a throw that we're just going to use later. Now on to the Speed Hate. Outside of the Guardian of the Spirit Sword, we have the Speed Hate. We have Dark Side of Karma. Flip, return attack to its printed speed. Or we can cancel a non-weapon, non-character ability, which is pretty cool. It has a 1 low block, which just means it's very easy to add with Terry, which is very good for us. We have 2, Getting a Ride, mainly in here because I wanted more Terry cards in my deck, which we'll get to in a second too. E-Destroy, we return an attack to its printed speed. Super easy, playable while committed, bring in, committed. Cool, next attack, printed speed, block a new thing, bring it in, draw a card, Commit before the blocks have an attack, we can return to its printed damage as well. So if our opponent starts nagging our attacks, we can just make sure our attacks are going to deal damage. Then 1, Bakery Poster Girl. 2/5, 2 low block, playable while committed, so when Terry brings it in, we can still play it to be able to do something else, which was the main purpose of the card. Super cool with Terry's ability. Now on to more Terry-specific stuff. We're playing 2 Sibling Rivalry. When we block throw with this, we take no damage, but that's not the main part of this. It's basically the E-Commit. If our opponent has no cards in their card pool, our opponent adds 1 card from the discard pile to their card pool, which just really fuels Terry's ditch a card. I'll get more damage. Cool. Do you want to block this now? So my next attack has that ability as well. And you just kind of just keep a cycle going. Or they just take it, and you dealt a lot of damage. Then we're playing 3 Hungry Wolf. Plus the speed if our opponent has no cards in their card pool. Really easy to do. And then 3 Human Weapon. Plus the damage if our opponent has no cards in their card pool. Really easy to do with Terry. Then on to our last 2 cards, which are defensive pieces. We have 2 Ominous Prophecy. I felt like Retro, still feel like this. Retro is going to be a very keyword dependent format. Weapons, combos, stuff like that. And just being able to take one of those away for the turn just helps us live a little longer. And then the last 2 is Protecting the Protector. We are adding a bunch of things in our staging area, and the one thing I don't want to do is lose my assets. So just being able to protect those is going to be very strong. Thanks again for checking out the profile, guys. If you liked my Terry deck, let me know down below. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. You get if you hit us up at the $1 level, you get most of our content early, most of our content live. You get access to our personal Discord where you can talk to the Magic guys, the UniVersus guys, the White Shorts guys, and the Final Fantasy guys. We really just kind of hang out, have a good time. Make sure to check out the Campus Championship live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/TCGUniversity. And we'll see you guys next time. Stay alert.